What's going on, fish? Welcome back to your favorite koi pond. As you've seen by the thumbnail, we are previewing.
Essentially. We're doing our preview of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, what's the word for it? There's a word for it.
Forecast?
No,
predictions?
Predictions. We're doing an overall prediction for the Atlanta Falcons. It only took me a minute to get there.
Hey.
But welcome back. 26th podcast episode.
26.
We gathered our shit together, and we have figured out what we'll be doing this offseason.
Woohoo!
We're going to start out by just going through the teams. You know, right now we don't have the official schedule, but you do know who they are playing. So because of that, we're going to start out with the worst division in football, the NFC South. And then from there, Atlanta will be this week, and each week we'll just keep on going.
And in fact, a week from today, we will get the schedule.
We needed to move it a week early before that, and that's why we're starting with the Falcons.
Yep.
But that'll be what we do most this offseason. It's easy for us. For the next few months, we might not be together at the same week.
Yep.
So for the sake of editing, shooting these and all that,
travel plans,
yes,
and keeping you intrigued, informed, and interested.
There will be no Thursday morning that one of these doesn't release. But you know, we've been figuring out scheduling wise what makes the most sense, and this does.
Yes.
So you know, if this doesn't interest you, no big deal. Next week will be a different team.
That's right.
Go on from there. We'll have our same shenanigans, but we'll be just going over what we expect the Falcons to do as of right now. Given plenty can happen between now and September, but this is what we want to do. So
here we are.
F it. Falcons record for the 2024 season.
Wow.
They ended last year 5-3 at home and 2-7 away. So I think it's safe to say, you know, as anybody would have predicted, being at home helps the football team a little bit.
And you know, not the greatest of endings to a season.
No.
You know, if you go back and pick up the last few weeks, they were showing some promise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, around mid-season. I think kind of look back to look forward, if you will.
Yep.
I mean, even let's go back to the beginning of the season. They opened beating the Panthers. Not such a big deal, but they beat the Packers in week 2.
Yep.
So, and you know, rolled on through. They did beat the Texans somehow in there with Desmond Ridder.
Who would have thought?
And then let's see, rolled through, and then the end of the season is kind of where it fell apart.
Yeah. I'm sure those last 2 weeks were not easy to play. You know, no one wants to be there. They're not fighting for anything. I think it was between Saints and Buccaneers, if anything.
It was really, and the Falcons at one point had a shot to be in it.
Yeah.
And they lost 4 of the last 5.
Not a great way to go.
Not a great way to go, and including at the Bears and second to the last week. 37-17, they got blown out.
I vaguely remember that.
And then the last week, the Saints buried them 48-17.
Yeah, so they were checked out.
Yeah, both road games. At that point, Tyler Heineke was playing in the Bears.
Oh,
he got hurt, and Desmond Ridder had to come back in, and
God.
it's just awful.
That's a terrible end. So, you know, I think it's fair to say this is a team with promise. They were missing some pieces.
Yeah. You
know, obviously they brought in Kirk Cousins.
Massive.
Say what you want to say about the Penix Jr. stuff. You know, they still have a backup quarterback, if anything. You know, it looks like they got some defensive tackles, some linebackers, a couple other spots later in the draft. But, you know, they addressed some issues. They have a new head coach now, Raheem Morris.
Yep.
So, you know, I think there's been some things not taken care of, but it looks like they've at least tried to address them.
Yeah, I agree. And the controversy with the Penix draft pick, of course, you know, is that you didn't get your edge rusher. You know, Dallas Turner and some other people were there in the draft. But in the same respect, I mean, what we just reviewed at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And Desmond Ridder wasn't the answer.
Right.
Taylor Heineke wasn't the answer. And I get it. I mean, Kirk Cousins in the young guy is 37, 36?
Yeah.
So that guy goes down, you want to go back into quarterback purgatory.
No. Especially when you have Drake London, Kyle Pitts.
Right.
I mean, you've got some real ballers on that team.
Exactly.
And frankly, they've just been missing a quarterback since probably that last season with Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
So it makes sense because that never really got solved. They tried to with Desmond Ridder that year after he went to the college football championship with UC, and it didn't work. I really thought personally he was going to be a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Hasn't worked out so far. Not saying it can't, but it's very unlikely these days.
Yeah.
So, things have been addressed. I think they've made strides in the right direction.
Yep. And you got Darnell Mooney that came over.
Yeah.
So that's a great pickup for him. Gives him another weapon. Bijan Robinson.
He's still there.
I mean,
they used him horribly last year, in my opinion.
They did.
It felt like, at least.
Yep. Defensively, again, you'd like to see him get that pass rusher. If there's one last move that they could make to kind of give him that, that shot. They got Braylon Trice from Washington on day 2. Not a bad pickup, but doesn't really have that premium element to him that you'd be looking for that you could have got at the spot in the draft. So maybe you go out and you get a Carl Lawson that used to be with Cincinnati. Great defensive end from, I think, pretty good from Auburn. Or Marcus Golden, another guy out there in free agency that you could go pick up. And so you got to get that pressure on the quarterback. But you said, there's no doubt that Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback in that division.
Right.
So right there you have to say, boom. Even if they can't play defense, they should be able to outscore people.
Scoring is now an option, whereas last year it was like, if they can't hold them, I don't know how they win this fucking game.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll be just going through. I mean, I'm down just to go down this list if you want. We'll start with home teams, and then second part of this we'll do the away teams.
Yep.
Start out. This is, again, at some point in their schedule, so we can't even say week 1. We'll just, opponent 1 at home.
Yep. Yeah, we don't know, so...
take it with a grain of salt because, obviously primetime games fucking matter.
Yep.
We don't know those games, so if something gets changed to primetime and our prediction's off by 1 game by the end of next season, I'll be fucking... we got it 100%.
And they were 7-10 last year, right?
Yeah, which is not bad given what it looked like.
I'm surprised when I went back and looked, it was that good. Because,
again,
I think with 2 or 3 weeks to go... I mean, you think about it. If they lost 4 of the last 5, that means at one point they were 6-5.
Yeah.
So
hypothetically, if they win
6-6,
2 or 3 of those out of the 5, they're probably in a different situation. Wild card.
And if Kirk Cousins, he's got to be worth 3 wins. I don't know how he's not.
And assuming out of those 5 games, there's a few that are 1 o'clock, so he's winning those 3.
Oh, this whole thing is going to be littered with 1 o'clock games. Let's be honest about it. I mean,
what primetime games am I talking about?
I mean, let's just we could predict this actually. Let's just fan down the away games, and then we'll go back and do it like you're.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Panthers East Coast, Broncos. That's going to be maybe a late game.
Yeah.
Raiders probably a late game.
I bet 2 4 o'clocks there.
2 4 o'clocks. That's exactly what I would predict. Saints are going to be a 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Eagles 1, Bucks 1, Commanders 1, and Vikings 1. They're going to be lucky if they have.
The only way one of them gets flexed is if the division is close with the Falcons between them and Tampa Bay.
That could be.
That would be the only situation.
Yep. That could be.
And it could be either the home or the away game.
Yep.
But regardless, that's the only shot in the away category.
Yeah, exactly. So
maybe one. Maybe one in the away.
Maybe. Over under, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Over under bet on Atlanta having
primetime
plus or minus 4 or later o'clock games.
I mean, they're with the home schedule opponents. Maybe the Seahawks because they're so West Coast. That
could be.
Oh no, that's home. Never mind. That's the only.
But maybe. You're right. So there you go. There's not many there.
There's no one.
I mean, there's 3 of the games that would have been later. Chargers, Chiefs, and Seahawks are at home.
Yep.
So
that busts my theory. Anyway, we'll get on to the old predicting.
Right on, man.
So opponent 1 at home. They've got the Panthers.
All right.
I will honestly just say Falcons win. I don't even care about the stats necessarily in this situation. I just think the Panthers have another year of poverty.
So the one thing to keep in mind here is that number 1, David Tepper, the owner, was pissed.
Yes.
That's not a guy that's used to losing money, losing games, losing anything. The pickup of the coach from the Buccaneers, I think it's Dave Canales. He is the guy that had a big impact on Baker Mayfield.
Oh.
And I predict
he's gonna have
a big impact on Bryce Young.
Interesting.
Now, keep in mind that last year Bryce Young head-to-head did actually beat C.J. Stroud.
Really?
Head-to-head. I had to go back and look it up.
The game.
The game.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So he's got that competitive fire.
Right.
They had nothing. They had no weapons.
No.
They had no line. They had shitty coaching.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they're going to beat Atlanta at Atlanta.
Right.
I'm just saying
Panthers.
the Panthers are not going to be, what is it, 2 and whatever that is.
2 and
2
16.
and 15?
15, yeah.
Yeah. The Panthers are going to be better than 2 and 15. But
Right.
we'll still put a win down here.
Okay.
Agree.
Fair enough. Opponent 2 at home, they've got the Saints.
Okay.
This is the first tricky one for me.
It is. I agree.
Because it's divisional.
Yep.
It's at Atlanta, so I'd lean them slightly.
Yep.
Derek Carr is still the quarterback of the Saints as of right now.
Right?
You know, looking at it, offensively, Saints last year scored 23 points per game, maybe 24 if you round up. Falcons were at 18, but I mean, I'd give them another 6 if with Kirk Cousins there.
Last year at home with Desmond Ridder, they won 24-15 against Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Or I'm sorry, my bad. At Atlanta. Sorry.
I was like,
at
they
Atlanta.
Played the Buccaneers at New Orleans.
What have I talking about?
I'm
so Atlanta home against New Orleans. They won 24-15 with Desmond Ridder.
I'll probably give the Falcons the win against the Saints at home. I think the rushing game for the Falcons is going to be way up from last year with Raheem Morris as a head coach.
Right.
And Bijan Robinson now being his second year in the league, kind of figuring stuff out. And the Saints' rushing defense last year was ranked 22nd. I mean, they gave up about 120 yards per game. I think they'd be able to figure that out, personally. I don't know if that's a hot take. I might switch that when it comes to the away game, but for the home,
I think it's fair.
I don't think it's out of the realm.
In the Saints, I mean, they didn't have a lot of draft picks.
Yeah.
They got Tuaga, the offensive tackle.
They needed that.
And they also got Kool-Aid McKinstry. But
that's right.
They have Marshawn Lattimore. So they really didn't need an outside cover guy. They went with the best player available, and they still can't cover the slot.
Yeah.
So if Kool-Aid can move in there and give
somehow
them,
make a difference.
But the Saints probably they re-signed their own, but they probably regressed a little bit.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway,
we'll just go with Saints. It's not like this is that hard hitting. Buccaneers third opponent.
Yep.
This one I'm gonna say Falcons, but only because the Buccaneers play in an outdoor stadium. That changes things.
Mm-hmm.
Another divisional game with Kirk Cousins. On the off chance this game is earlier in the season, I think the Falcons hype and the Falcons show up. That makes a huge difference because those guys love, it's the city of Atlanta. They love their NFL team.
Right.
Given the Hurricanes, their NHL team is on the way out. I think it's Atlanta. No, I scratch that. I don't remember where the Hurricanes are from. But I'm going to give the Falcons this one too, personally. I think the Buccaneers are their best shot, have the best chance at beating them at home. But if, David Baker losing his guy at Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans is getting old. Goodwin didn't have much of a season with injury.
Yep.
I'm going to lean Falcons on this one.
Okay. And that's the Buccaneers at the Falcons.
This is Buccaneers at Falcons.
Yep. So I'd probably lean that way too. Tampa Bay had a good draft. They're like you said, Mike Evans is getting up there, but they did re-sign their own players. I think with Dave Canales going to Carolina, I think it's possible that Baker takes a little step back.
Yeah,
because he's had a hell of a
2-3 years.
Run.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and make this a win, I think, too, for Atlanta against the Bucs.
Just initial feelings.
Yep.
Okay, now this is where it all comes crashing down in my book. This is Cowboys at Falcons, the fourth opponent at home. Frankly, I don't think the Falcons will get over that hump. I think the Cowboys will take care of business, given it is a Falcons home game still. But I think the Cowboys, overall, with their current roster, even with Zeke, I think they'll be taking care of business at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Ditto.
I didn't think we'd have much of a conversation there.
Yep.
Giants. I feel like I'm giving them too many wins. Atlanta. But I don't know. I'm thinking this through. Sorry. The Giants across the board didn't have much of a quarterback last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they were working with Bridgewater and what was it? DeVito.
Right.
And their defense actually isn't ranked. Oh, their defense is ranked terribly. Yeah, I'm going to give this to the Falcons. I just talked myself out of it. The passing, rushing, and scoring defense for the Giants at the end of the last year was ranked 19, 29, 26.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be a shootout, but I think the Falcons will at least be able to keep scoring. And the Giants lost Saquon Barkley. They still have Dabble, or Dabo, whatever you say his name, who I like a lot. I wish the Chargers would have got him back in the day instead of Staley. But I don't think offensively they'll... Well, no, Giants got Odunze or Neighbors.
Oh, they got Neighbors.
Yep. I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah.
Giants are still looking for a running back, I think. Or they got someone, but it's not...
Yeah, I'm looking it up here real quick. They did get somebody, I think, in the draft, or...
Someone from the Bills, maybe?
It might be. But it does seem like there's somebody else on there.
Yeah.
I'm personally going with a loss here for Atlanta.
Okay.
I think the Giants had a great draft.
Oh.
Had a good offseason, and I think Daniel Jones is going to
come out swinging.
In a game like this will play well because their defense, Atlanta's defense, is not real strong.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
point. So that's my take. I don't know.
All right. I can see that.
So
I can dig it. As simple as that.
I'm gonna put that one as a loss.
Fair. Good to move on. Or are you still looking up that?
I think that's good. I know that they did get a running back something, but
I can't
for the life of me think about it. Here, it's coming up right now.
That's fine. Worst case, I'll cut out a little silence.
Devin Singletary. Yeah.
Yeah. He works.
He works, yeah. This Dwandell Robinson, Darius Slayton, Malik Neighbors, that's pretty strong receiving core.
That is actually.
Along with Darren Waller.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't have much of a season, but he didn't have much of a chance either.
Yeah. So,
kind of a 50-50 here.
Yeah. You want to split on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take a win there.
All right.
I kind of foresee my losses coming up. Chiefs at Falcons, opponent number 6. 2, 4. Yeah. 6th opponent at home, Chiefs. I'm just going to put it down as a loss. I'll be honest. I think, if anything, Andy Reid, they can take care of business. Travis Kelce's still there.
Yeah.
Even with Rashee Rice's suspension, maybe plays into this if it's early enough in the season. But, they got that new guy, Xavier Worthy. I don't think he's going to be top dog in the NFL, but I think, that's at least an option.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put a loss there. Sorry, Jay.
I'm going to call that one a win.
You're going to call that one a win?
It somehow has a vibe to me of a Kirk Cousins...
a personal game.
I don't know why I think that, but the Chiefs, again, you've always said it, and it's totally true, recognizing they know when you have to win.
Yep.
This is not a game you have to win, I don't believe.
No.
And so I think for Kirk Cousins, this is not a playoff game, but for him, it's a playoff game, and he'll excel because there's no pressure.
That's a good point.
And because Pat Mahomes won't care.
Yeah.
So I think in that game, he's given 110.
I could see that.
Pat Mahomes is doing what he needs to, and it's just enough for Kirk Cousins to eke that one out at home.
You know what? I get that. I think you're right.
That's the thrill of the season for Falcon fans.
Yep.
Right there.
You know what?
That's the season.
I can get behind that. The only stat I'd point out is the Chiefs had the 4th best receiving or passing defense last season.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins against good passing defense spells loss for me. But we can split on that. I like it. We're adding a little bit of a good cop bad cop thing here.
I think they used Bijan Robinson to set up play action.
That's the point I keep forgetting too, is the fact they've got him.
And
I don't think MacArthur or Arthur last year for the Falcons used him right.
I agree with you. And Kirk Cousins is such a play action quarterback. So
you know what? That's a good point.
That's just my take.
I like that shit. Keep it up. All right. You want to talk about this one because mine's going to be totally biased.
You got it. Chargers. So Chargers at Atlanta.
7th opponent.
Jim Harbaugh's going to have that squad rocking, I have no doubt. I don't care who the names are. Mm-hmm. He will find a way to have them rocking. And I just don't think that they lose to Atlanta at Atlanta.
Michigan against Georgia. Do you think there's any personal matters there where Harbaugh runs up the score 1,000 or that what's his name wants to run it up on him?
There could be, I guess. There could be.
I'm just thinking headlines what it could be.
But I think they lose to the Chargers at home.
All right.
I really do.
Hey, thanks for that.
You betcha.
Appreciate that.
Super.
Oh, I fucked up there.
We were both saying Chargers win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you had never mind. I marked it wrong earlier.
Yeah, we had the prior to
flip. Yep. Eighth opponent, if I'm counting right, I don't know. Seahawks at Atlanta.
Yeah.
This one I don't know. Because was it Drew Lock is now with the Seahawks?
Yes.
Geno Smith is still with the Seahawks.
Still there.
Seahawks got a new coach.
Yeah.
Lost Cam Chancellor again.
I think so.
And maybe someone else, Wagner, Bobby Wagner.
Yes, Bobby Wagner went to the Commanders.
Yeah, so
to be with his old coach Dan Quinn.
Yeah, Seahawks lost some boys. And I don't know what that offense even looks like. I think I'm going to give this one to the Falcons just for the uncertainties.
I'm with that.
I don't know if that's crazy. I don't know if I've given them too many wins, but like
I totally agree with that.
When you frame it up at Atlanta, I think I'm going to lean Atlanta.
Yep. I totally agree with that. I think, Pete Carroll's gone.
Yeah.
What's that going to look like?
He was. I still think they got rid of Pete Carroll too early. Personally,
agree with that. Totally agree with that.
I mean, I get his gum gets annoying when he's chewing it that loud on the sidelines, but
guy's been awfully damn successful and consistent.
For calling Russell Wilson's downfall, I mean, I'd probably give him the keys to the city.
I mean, that was just a highway robbery of Denver, and he's probably next to Mike Tomlin. He's probably the most consistent coach while he was in. So
no, I agree. I completely agree.
Guy always seemed to find a way. So.
Yeah. Speak of Tomlin, good transition.
How about
Last
that?
Home opponent for the Falcons would be Steelers at Atlanta. Now, Steelers got dual quarterback at the moment. We haven't heard any news either way. Najee Harris is still with the Steelers as of right now.
Right.
He hasn't been traded to the Cowboys yet.
And that is not happening.
I'm sure.
Let me just put that to rest right now. I have it from internal, reliable sources at the Star in Frisco. That will not be happening.
Fair. I really don't know. I mean, if you can pressure Kirk Cousins, that gets him flustered, assuming TJ Watt is still playing at this point in the season when they do play. It is at Atlanta. Steelers, I don't even remember who they kind of got. They don't have a bad offense, I think. They did get rid of their offensive coordinator halfway through the season last year.
Yeah, he sucked.
And
I think that was a good move.
Their offense got better.
It did.
They'll have a better quarterback than Pickett.
Better quarterback play, without question. They have the offensive lineman from Washington, Troy Fautanu.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's going to be good. A new center, Zach Frazier from West Virginia. He's going to be good.
Well, that's a homegrown boy, too, at that point.
Roman Wilson, a receiver from Michigan. Gritty guy.
Yeah,
Going to be good. And then one of my favorite players from the draft was Peyton Wilson, linebacker from NC State.
Yep.
Injury issues, but if he can stay healthy, he's a real. I mean, to put him with TJ Watt,
right?
Whew, could be something magical.
Oh yeah, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and give the Falcons a loss here.
I am too.
There's something about it. There's something about that Steelers logo against the Falcons logo in my head that I just don't like.
I know. Isn't it funny how you get whatever it is you get, and you're like, yes, no, yeah. I mean,
and let's see. After we had, I think, the same amount of losses and wins, and just different games flipped.
That's right.
2-4. Was that 5-4?
5-4. They went 5-3 last year.
Okay. So that's not out of the realm.
No, I really do think where they play better is on the road, because that's where an experienced quarterback is going to Atlanta, where an experienced quarterback is going to help you more.
Yeah,
Desmond Ridder is tougher on the road.
Well,
right?
No, as you said that, I'm like, they went 2-7 last year on the road, and then I realized where you were going with it. I was like, why do I make these?
I was like, what did I fuck up now? You mean we're not talking about Tampa Bay?
They're not playing at the Bubble Bowl.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
home record.
Start your engines.
We both had them finishing 5-4 at home.
5-4.
Two games flipped. Not too bad.
No, not at all.
Let's see here.
Right.
First opponent of the away game slate, Panthers. If this is at Carolina, assuming the crowd shows up.
Yes.
Because, I mean, there was that whole fiasco last year. I know a bunch of you guys remember, and gals.
Yes.
When they were selling those tickets for like 50 cents each at one point.
Yeah.
On Ticketmaster and whatnot. Yeah. I don't know if I'd sweep the Panthers here. You know, in my heart, I think they get swept. But you framed up that last one nicely, so I'm not totally sure. I'm hesitant both ways.
I'm calling a loss there for Atlanta.
Lost there for Atlanta?
Yep, I think Carolina
that's what I was leaning.
Gets a couple meaningful wins.
Yep.
I don't think they're gonna, again, they're not gonna go from 2-15 to 10 and
right.
whatever.
They're not gonna pull a Texans on us.
No, I don't see that, but I do see them probably getting 5 wins.
Yeah, I can
4 or
see
5
that.
wins easily.
Yeah. Okay.
I think just the things they've done, my perception and probably everyone's perception that Bryce Young is a flop. When you go back and you look at the numbers, it shows you that it really wasn't, and they had a lot of other shit going on. Mm-hmm. Their interior offensive line, and we'll get into this when we get to the Panthers, but their interior offensive line was such shit that every time he snapped the ball, people were in his face.
Yes,
and
it was a total collapse.
It's just not good.
He didn't have a shot from the beginning.
That right there, along with the other talent around him, is worth 2 or 3 more wins. But okay,
let's go on.
Yes,
second opponent, Broncos at Mile High.
The Broncos.
I think I'm going to give them a win, but the fact that it's at Mile High scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think everyone knows this season, more than likely for the Broncos, is going to be a rebuild year.
Yes.
Because they don't even have money to go get someone.
They got nothing.
So I'm just going to chalk that as a win for Atlanta.
Yep. They got Sean Payton.
Is that what you're going with?
Yep, win.
All right.
Boom.
Next one at Raiders. This one could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
On the road in Las Vegas against a Raiders team that doesn't necessarily have a quarterback.
Yes.
Because they've got now Brock Bowers, Myers, Devontae Adams, Aiden O'Connell currently.
Yep.
They were coming together. They got the guy from the Dolphins on defense with Max Crosby.
Yeah, Christian Wilkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this as a loss there only because that Max Crosby and Wilkins duo is going to be dominant.
Raiders are going to be a lot better, I think.
I think so as well.
Yes.
Saints, second time.
Saints, second time.
I'm going to give them a loss only because I think the Saints are a decent team. But they're both dome stadiums.
Yeah.
Both turf. I'm having conflicted.
That's a toughie, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking big picture, given teams are teams, but Derek Carr is a home warrior.
Let's see here.
They got Chase. Saints got Chase Young, but he'll probably not be available till late in the season.
I mean, and I'm really curious to see. I mean, Spencer Rattler's there now.
Yeah.
And there's something about that guy. He got into some trouble.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a putz here and there. If he can straighten his ass out, injury, shitty play, a quarterback, he could get in there. He could.
And he's actually a better leader than what they've got.
Yeah, Derek Carr is getting old.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a, when he makes a bad play,
I mean, even the fans, all you got to do is talk to one Saints fan, watch a game. They want Taysom Hill in there.
Yeah, they do.
And so Spencer Rattler is closer to him. So
yeah.
I don't know.
You know what?
I think they lose this to the Saints.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yep.
I've kind of talked myself into that.
I think they lose that one to the Saints.
And they're not traveling far either. So the travel, bug isn't as bad.
No.
Okay. Now they're going, was that 1, 2, 3, 4? Fifth opponent away. They're going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles.
Yep.
I'm just going to put that as a loss. I don't think the Eagles are a godsend, but I think playing outside in Philly and, a possible later in the season when it's not as warm as that dome,
yeah,
I think it gets a little different. I'm just going to personally put loss there, my opinion.
Yep.
I think probably the Eagles figure it out next year a little bit more than they did at the end of this past year.
I'm going to put it as a win.
Okay.
I think that Kirk Cousins last year with the Vikings beat the Eagles at Philly.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I think he's comfortable. And there's certain players that play.
It's just
couldn't do it any other way,
right?
Any other place. But somehow in that matchup, that situation during the season, he finds a way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think
I like it.
I think that's probably the case.
Bucks second round.
Yeah, the Bucks.
At
Tampa Bay. So when they played last year, Atlanta won 16-13. It was in the first half of the season. I personally think they sweep the Bucs.
I think so too. I like that.
I still think that Atlanta's gotten enough better, and the Bucs have probably regressed just a little bit.
Yeah.
So that gap is bigger than it was. I just don't see how Baker Mayfield does the same. Even if he does a little bit worse, he's still doing really well.
Yeah.
He's done great the last few seasons.
I completely agree. We're not trying to slight Baker Mayfield here.
But you're making some changes there on offense.
Mm-hmm.
And so with coaching, and I think, it's just enough. Enough to throw it off a bit.
Yep. Was that 2, 4, 6, 7th away opponent, the Commanders. I have my opinions of Austin Eckler. I'm going to put this as a win for Atlanta.
I agree with you. I think Washington is turning a corner hard.
Yes.
I think it's a great draft. I think Dan Quinn is a great coach. I think they've got a lot of talent to come in there, and they're gonna do immediately better.
Yep.
But I think again here you're looking at rookie quarterback versus Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
And I think in that case I'm going to give it to Kirk.
Last away opponent, just by chance of it being that way, is the Vikings.
Crazy.
I'm giving this to Kirk Chainz.
Absolutely.
I think this is beyond a football game for him.
Absolutely.
I don't think the Vikings have a football team necessarily right now.
No. I think they've got some fundamental pieces to it.
Yes.
But anytime you have a revenge game,
yes,
it always goes to the player, especially when it's a quarterback.
Yes.
So,
and the whole success of Justin Jefferson, given he's an amazing wide receiver, I'm not saying that he can't do it himself.
No doubt.
But if you can't get a quarterback that can accurately throw the ball, that wide receiver is useless.
Yep.
So with them getting a rookie quarterback who, hell, he might be the next Tom Brady. Who knows? I don't care.
Yep.
I'm going to give it to Kirk Cousins because he's got Drake London. He's got Kyle Pitts. This is in what's the name of that stadium? MetLife. It's
what is it called now? It's called Vegan Stadium.
Yeah, Vegan Stadium.
Let's go with that. Because that's what everyone's going to know it as.
Yeah, it's a vegan stadium. I just think
100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No meat in there allowed.
No.
I think
welcome to meatless.
It's meatless. And I think, Kirk has got that meat, and I think he's going to give it to him personally.
Yeah.
He's going to be comfortable there. He's familiar with it.
Yep.
If they play this game early in the season, he'll be real comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Remember it. So, and they're not going to let him forget all those games they lost either in the playoffs. Mm-mm. So I think personally, he just runs train on this game.
Wow, interesting.
So let me get my wins totaled up here.
So I have them going 5-3 on the road. 10-7 overall.
You have 10-7. I've got 9-7.
9-8. Yep.
9-8.
Yeah, you got 9-8 for 17 games.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
How did I mess that up?
Because it's the end. It's the end of the damn day, and we're both tired.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, so K-Dog's got 10-7. I've got 9-8 for the record this year. I think that's fair. I've got them 5-4 at home and 4-4 at away. So
7-10 last year. So we said Kirk was probably worth 2 to 3 games.
It kind of panned out.
That's where we're at.
That's hilarious.
And we just went through it that way. So it's interesting when you do it that way and then see. And let's put a big asterisk next to these forecasts that this is all predicated on Kirk Cousins staying upright and healthy.
Yes. Oh, my God. This could change so fast.
And if he gets hurt, the odds are good he's going to get hurt for some number of games. Penix is probably going to be okay, but we don't know they don't know what they have there.
No.
So you can't even say it would be as good as Heineke coming in because Heineke's played in the league.
Yeah, he's been there, done that.
So what is Penix going to be?
And that's only time can tell. And, that was the Falcons taking a gamble on. We'd rather be prepared than, trust Kirk not to get hurt.
Yep.
Which, evidently might happen now because he's probably like, fuck this, Yeah. I was told I was quarterback 1, and you went and drafted a quarterback as soon as we signed.
He's already pissed off.
Yeah. So who knows?
I don't know.
That's our predictions.
Yep.
I'm going to keep this in a separate file, and we'll kind of revisit this throughout the season. We'll see. After we do each of our predictions, I'm going to put it, what each of us predicted for the game, and if I find something that one week we predicted every game right, that'll be awesome, but who knows, just fun to do. And next week we'll be doing a different team in the NFC South. Leave a comment on who you think we're going to do. We don't know yet. And we'll go from there. But I think that's it.
That's it.
We
Perfect.
appreciate everyone watching, hanging out with us. Make sure to tell your friends and family all about it. Have them subscribe and like. And, we're spreading the good word of the Lord. Roger Goodell.
Time to go have some fish food now.
Yes. Time to go get some fish food.
Blah, 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 blah.
Don't forget to follow the Twitter. I'll put it in the description below. And I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.
Koi Pond out.
Koi Pond out.